want to help her through a hard time. If that's what she has to do, I will pay it. I probably won't even look at it more than 5 times a day, and just helps get her back on her feet. You know, it's just me being a good guy. That's it. Next up, Mandy Rose.
Oh yeah. Let me sit up for this.
Mandy Rose
Mandy Rose.
has gotten fired.
Thank God she
So
did.
let's talk about this story. You've probably heard this story. This has been floating around in the community, New York Post. Everybody's talking about it. I can assure you what's going to set us apart on this story is that we have each done extensive research into these photos.
Some
we
long hours.
we have left no stone unturned and looked at hours and hours and hours of pictures to find the examples that will lead to the most accurate details.
And
We are
this is
well
the type
versed
of dedication and preparation you can expect here at the show.
because you got these. As I was listening to this story during the week, you got these geeks. Oh, I didn't look at the pictures, but no, no, no. I looked at the pictures. I looked at all the pictures. I even went around asking on Twitter if anybody has good pictures, better pictures, any links, which turned out to be a mistake. So I wouldn't do that in the future. I wanted the best stuff I could find for research.
For research.
What am I? But ultimately, what am I talking about? Mandy Rose, she got fired because she was posting racy pictures on her fan time page. Fan time is basically another version of OnlyFans where women get to post pictures, or well, not women, anybody gets to post pictures directly to fans. They pay for them, yada yada yada. They subscribe. I'm sure you're familiar with OnlyFans. By you, I mean the audience.
Oh.
uh, so yeah, Fan Time is just a version of OnlyFans. And Brand Army, the difference between Brand Army and Fun Time is you can be nude. Enter what happened with Mandy Rose. We get to Tuesday. On Tuesday, she had a impromptu championship match against Roxanne Perez. She kind of just loses the title easily and surprisingly. It was like underwhelming that her 400 plus day reign just ended like that. And then we found out why, is because she got fired. She got fired that same day, or the reports started coming out the same day that Mandy Rose had been fired. What happened was we had one of her subscribers leak the photos, and then word got back to WWE management. WWE management told her that she needed to take this down. She refused. Some word on the street that she's making like $1 million. I don't know over what time frame. I don't know if that's a year or a month. Honestly, I could see either one. So she's making $1 million off of this site. That's more than she's making with WWE. So she was like, no, I'm not taking it down. They kind of were forced to fire her. Well, of course, the wrestling world sees this is bad for WWE that they fired Mandy Rose because she's posting these kind of pictures. I could see both sides of it. Again, they gave her a chance to take it down before they did the firing.
Right.
So this wasn't just like, oh, you got these pictures, you're fired. Like, they gave her ample amount of time to take these pictures down. That's number one. Number two, she didn't want to take them down because she's making, as said, $1 million. Don't know if that's a month or a year. Could be either one. And they're both believable.
Just the only thing that I would say is that she's not like advertising these pictures. They came out because somebody breached her paywall and released them on her own accord. It's not like she's advertising them. You know, they had Paige as a general manager after her escapades with.
Well, that's not even. That's different.
How is that different?
Because Paige, those.
She had leaked videos and leaked pictures, just
Right.
like Mandy Rose did.
Mandy Rose put this stuff out
So did Paige.
on her own paywall. Like, she was sending this stuff.
I think it's the same thing. The image is still there. Not to mention, not to mention the extracurricular stuff beyond the spit roasting of Woods and the other guy.
Maddox. So you're saying because we've seen her naked, she should have gotten fired?
I don't think any of them should have got fired. But I'm just saying that's you
Or,
basically promoted one and put one in a prominent role on your television show. Because I'm assuming that the reason why that she's not allowed to have those pictures is because of some sort of image thing with their sponsors.
right. Yeah, and that's the reports that it's because Mattel doesn't want that kind of stuff being associated with them since they're a toy company.
That and they have
You
Riddle
are
who
missing.
he had his thing where they
Yeah, it is a
actively
contradiction. That is a contradiction there.
they actually changed his name just to just to avoid the bad publicity. I think they probably just didn't like her being Mandy Rose, and they found a way to get rid of her.
If they didn't like her, they don't put the title on her for 400 days.
Well, Shawn Michaels might like her.
But I think everybody's missing missing a big thing here when you're talking about like Paige going through this and getting promoted and stuff like that.
Yeah, go ahead.
You're missing one big piece of the puzzle,
Yeah.
and that is the fact that when Paige had her thing happen to her, she had a 70-year-old pervert who allegedly graped women in the back of limousines.
Who was that?
Vince McMahon.
Oh,
Of
yeah,
course,
yeah.
Vince McMahon was going to be okay with it. But now her boss is Stephanie McMahon.
Okay.
So, Stephanie's not
fair.
going to put up with that.
Okay, yeah. Because I've been hearing that well, they had women pose in Playboy. It's like, well, yeah, but that was like 20 years ago. You don't think a company evolves its values and shit? I guess that in that same vein, that would fall into that too, because Vince McMahon runs things differently than Stephanie and Nick Khan, I'm sure.
I mean, Mr. McMahon, Vince McMahon,
He likes bra and panties and titties.
he had women, wrestling in bra and he had Sable on TV in just like a painted, that bikini that was just like a hand paint.
Uh-huh. I remember.
You remember that like it was yesterday, don't you?
I remember the cat's bubble wrap too.
Like,
that was good
this is
stuff.
and the bra and panties matches. Like, this is not someone who's gonna be, oh no, you can't do that.
Right. Yeah, that's fair. I didn't think of it that way.
But now you have this new regime. I think there's a chance that she comes back, but I also think there's a chance that she doesn't come back. The amount she's making, if she is making $1 million. Oh, I'm sorry, we've kind of missed something important here. Through the extensive research, I was only able to find Cinemax at 2 a.m. There was like a picture of her covering her breast. Her fingers are like open a little bit, so you see a little bit of nipple.
It was hot.
There was another picture of her tank. She was wearing like a swimsuit or something, and it was like pulled down a little bit so you can see nipples.
It was hot
And
too.
then there was a video. She's skinny dipping in a pool,
Oh,
and
yeah.
then they're just floating. They're just floating there. And then there was one. She's in the shower with her husband, and
Yeah,
I don't know.
This one
That was just kind
was
of
good.
There was one. Someone was reporting there was one with her like playing with herself. I couldn't find that one. Boy, did I look! Like, wait, that's the one I need to see for research, of course. And I spent a couple hours looking for that one. I didn't find that, so I don't know if that one's true or not. But yeah, that's what I was able to find. What you would see if for those of you that would remember Cinemax, what you would see at 2 in the morning on Cinemax. Basically, tits and the idea of them having sex. Now that she's cut free from WWE, maybe that goes a little bit further. If it does, I'll make sure to update you guys with some more information there. Let me just say she was wrongly fired. If that happened to be a thing and she had to like do that to pay her bills, I would need to help support her, and I would gladly pay that subscription. But yeah, it was a different regime back then when they were getting away with that stuff and probably forced to do that stuff.
They still have Riddle.
They do. But he did have to check in
If he doesn't smoke himself out of a job.
and he did have to check into rehab. There's no rehab for showing yourself naked.
Yeah, I was listening to a podcast with Dutch Mantel, and he suggested that WWE does this thing where they say somebody flunked their test just to make it look like it's a legitimate testing system. Now, if I were to put my tinfoil hat on, what better person to nab for a drug or failed drug test than the druggie? Like, his image wouldn't be tainted at all.
Yeah, but this is like the first one under Triple H.
I think it's far fetched for sure, but just kind of fun to think about.
And also, Mandy Rose, I think, is like the first firing in the Triple H era. So there's that as well.
Well, there might be more.
Um, yes, which leads us into our next story.